Welcome back to the Nightly Review. My guest for tonight's one-on-one conversation is Edwin Hahn, one of two men who claim the title of Republican Party Chairman of Clay County. Hahn is also continuing his campaign as a Republican candidate for State Senate District 4, even though Republicans in the district have officially endorsed fellow Republican Dan Bohmer for the seat. Hahn tells me he was kicked out of the party's recent endorsing convention in Rochester, and I asked him why.
Well, Tom, there's an element, as we continue to talk about at the state party, that has had an axe to grind with me, because what we're doing is we're growing the movement within Clay County, and it's an example for the rest of the state to follow. And what we're doing is we're bringing that power of the political party back into the people's hands, and that dilutes the power at the executive level, right? We're also uncovering a lot of corruption, uncovering a lot of unethical behavior that the party is doing, and then flat out unconstitutional actions that the state executives are also engaged in. And so, of course, they don't like this. They perceive this as a threat to their fiefdom, to their kingdom. And so they're doing everything they can to squash me, and even using basically lies and manipulation to get minions to do their bidding.
Going back to mid-March, you say it was an orchestrated coup d'etat when the county executive board took action to remove you as county party chair. Talk about what happened there and how it has led to where we are today.
Yes, Tom. And so going back to this idea that the state executives have been squashing every attempt for the people to take back their party, they had blessed an initiative by one of our rogue directors, Calvin Benson, who is also a Michelle Fischbach staffer, congressional staffer, to attempt a removal. The removal was, of course, grossly unconstitutional. It violated all of our processes, as well as the state party processes. But because it was colluded with at the very highest level of the Minnesota GOP, the chair, Edwin Hahn, as well as Mike Lungering, the executive director, amongst others, there's been this cementing of this narrative that I have been removed. And they've been continuing to bolster this with a lie that I'm somehow violent, that I submitted threats of violence, of some kind of physical harm to people. Obviously, if this was the case, I would have been charged with some kind of terrorism. I would probably be in a court battle right now. I would be, definitely facing some kind of indictment or restraining order. And there's nothing to back this up. And so obviously, they're completely not credible. And so there's no charges against me. Their argument does not hold water. All they have is public perception, as they've used the leftist media. They only will talk with the leftist media. At my understanding, they're not taking interviews from you. And so what they're doing is painting a picture and a narrative as I'm some kind of an evil, violent person, which is simply false.
So what are your thoughts regarding District 4 Republicans endorsing Dan Bohmer for the state Senate seat?
Yes, of course. We just continue to see a pattern of the party being interfering and engaged in the people's business. So we had party operatives that illegitimately, unconstitutionally controlled that endorsement. They didn't even follow the rules. They didn't even follow their constitutional processes to call that convention. And they actively blocked duly elected delegates from even participating and voting in that convention, which of course is highly unconstitutional. So picking winners and losers from the very highest level of the party and diluting the people's voice, actually silencing the delegate's voice, is what occurred during that endorsement. So as we continue on, we are definitely primarying and running against whoever their party pick is, their establishment pick is.
And I'd like to thank Minnesota State Senate District 4 candidate Edwin Hahn for joining me for tonight's one-on-one conversation. The primary election in Minnesota is set for Tuesday, August 9th. Well, that will do it for this Monday night, May 23rd, 2022. I'm Tom Tucker. Thanks for watching the Nightly Review.